Hey everybody, welcome back to Evie's Corner, and today I'm going to be doing another story time. I know I've been doing a lot of story times lately, but I figured story times, they're fun. Y'all get to learn a little bit more about me through story times. I was like, let's just get them out the way. So today's story time is going to be about my worst best friend ever. Like, I think this story that I'm about to tell you is going to give you an insight on why I don't have many best friends or friends in general. So if you're ready to hear about this story, just keep watching. So this story starts in the middle of 2014, so I'll say like maybe around like February or March of 2015. I had a friend. I met her through my mom, and yeah, I met her through my mom. We were close in age. Her and my mom had met through Facebook, through a Facebook group, I think, and it was like a whole bunch of church members or people that were in church, and they were in this Facebook group, I'm guessing. So that's how I met her. I met her through my mom. At the time, I was 17. I was either 17 turning 18. Yeah, I was 17 turning 18. So I was in my junior year of high school. Everything was fine, whatever. And me and her just became really, really close. We were close in age. She was 20 at the time. Yeah, I think she was 20 at the time. So, you know, we're really close. Her and my mom are friends, talking about church stuff, whatever. And so it was just like real cool, real smooth, like nothing much. And at this point, I think we were just like, every time she would be talking to my mom about stuff, about like church and stuff, me and her would end up talking after they finished their conversation. So eventually me, her, and my mom met. And so I'll say this is like the summertime when we meet or whatever, and everything is cool. Like, we're all chilling, having a good time or whatever. And at this point, I didn't really think too much of it or whatever. We go into my senior year of college, my senior year of high school, my senior year of high school, and this is when stuff starts to get a little crazy. You know, this is my mom's friend, and me and her, at this point, we're best friends now. Like, we talk all the time. She's coming over to the house to chill with me, my mom, my grandma, like everybody. Been to family functions, Thanksgiving. She's been to my church, met my pastor. And if you know me, you know that meeting my family is one thing. Like, some of my friends have met my family, but when you meet my church family and my pastor, that's like a whole nother section of my life that I really hold near and dear to me, because I've been going to my church since I was like 3, and I am 23 now. So that's 20 years. I've known these people. They've seen me grow up. So it's a different thing to meet my church family and meet my pastor, because it's just a different thing for me personally. So that was cool and everything. And New Year's Eve is when she came to our church, met my pastor, my church family. We laughing, joking, having a wonderful time. Like, we're just clowns, and everything. So now we're moving into, I'm getting ready to graduate from high school, and like everything is fine. You know, you have your arguments with your friends and people you know, but it's not like over the top arguments where it's just like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with you, like leave me alone. It was nothing like that. It was baseline arguments like, oh, you didn't call me, or oh, you play too much, stuff like that. So, but I started to notice like little things that she would do, little nitpicky things, and I would just brush it off like, oh, that's just her being her. We're gonna call her Angelique. That's just Angelique being Angelique. Like, it is what it is. Some stuff you can't change. You know, your friends are gonna do certain things that's gonna piss you off, and you know, y'all talk about it and it goes away or whatever. So we're getting closer to my graduation and everything, and I had graduation practice. Like the last month and a half of high school was graduation practice. Like we didn't have to do anything. We sat in our advisors class like all day for like the first, I think we went to like our first 3 classes or something like that, and then we had graduation practice for the rest of the day. And like at my school started at 7:15, and we were out of school about 2:19. So like my first 3 classes would be from 7:15 to like 12:30ish, maybe even a little bit before that. And then from there, like we would go to lunch, come from lunch, go straight into graduation practice, and practice from like 12:30. Yeah, because I went to lunch at like 12 o'clock, so we would practice from 12:30 to 2, and the last 19 minutes or whatever we'd just be sitting around. So that was my day for like the last month and a half. And then like 2 weeks before graduation, we were told we didn't have to come into school. We just had to go to the graduation hall, the hall that we were using for graduation practice, and we only had to be there like 3 hours. So I went to graduation practice at the hall, and I left there and went to Angelique's house. Now Angelique lives in Chester, PA. I live in Philadelphia, so it was like an hour and a half bus ride from where I was, which I didn't mind. Like, it was fun, whatever. So I went, spent the whole day there with her, and we lost track of time because we was laughing and joking, watching movies, and we lost track of time. And I had a student trans pass at that time, and our student trans passes ran out at 7 o'clock. Now I had been with her since like 11:30, so I'm like, okay, I gotta leave. So I leave at like 5:45. We had to walk from her house to the transportation center, which was like a 20-minute walk. I get to the transportation center, I get on the bus. So I left her house at 5:45. I get to the transportation center like 6 something. So I only had a good 45 minutes to get from the transportation center all the way to my house. And so I get there to get back into Philadelphia County, and it's 7 o'clock already. So I'm trying to get on the bus, it's not working, my trans pass is not working, and they're like, oh, you can't get on the bus. I'm like, yo, I have to get on this bus, like, come on. So they let me get on the bus or whatever. I got home and I called her. I was like, if I come back to your house, I can't leave that late because my trans pass stops working at 7 o'clock. And she was like, okay, don't worry about it, like, next time you won't leave that late. And so I went back, I think like 2 days after that, and everything was fine. I got home in a reasonable amount of time. But when I told her, it was like she was frustrated and agitated with me. So I was just like, okay, whatever. So fast forward to my graduation. No, my prom. We're gonna go back a little bit. My prom, everything was fine. My prom was on May 21st, and my birthday was on May 26th. So I did a big graduation slash prom, a prom slash birthday celebration She helped plan it, everything. Her and my mom had matching suspenders. One said best friend, and their shirt said best friend, and my mom said mom on it. It was really, really cute. But even with that, it was kind of like a lot of tension with planning that, and it just spilled over into graduation practice and graduation. So the day of my graduation, you know, everything was fine. We get back to my house, and Angelique was like, well, what do you want for your graduation? And she had asked me that weeks ago, and I was like, well, just make some pasta, garlic bread, salad, we'll be fine. So she made the food, everything was good, my family was there, like, we just had a blast. Like, it was so much fun. So now fast forward to I'm going into college. Now I wanted to get my hair braided, and she was like, oh, don't worry about paying the money, I'll just braid your hair for you. Fine. That saves me a whole lot of money, because normally when I get my individuals done, excuse the dogs, so sorry about that, but normally when I get my individuals done, I'm paying $150, $180 for almost waist length braids. So I was like, okay, well, that's money I'm keeping in my pocket, I'll just go buy the hair. So I go buy the hair. She doesn't start my braids until the day before I'm supposed to leave for college. Y'all, we talked about this like 2 weeks before this. You wait until the day before that I have to go to college to want to braid my hair. So we're up all night. Like, we're packing my clothes, she's braiding my hair. She eventually spends the night at my house, and I fall asleep with her braiding my hair. Wake up in the morning, the day that I'm supposed to move in on campus, I had to get up at 5 in the morning. She still wasn't finished braiding my hair. She had a small section left. But if we talked about this 2 weeks in advance, why would you wait to braid my hair? So anyway, she finishes braiding my hair. Me, my mom, my Aunt Ursula, my Aunt Mary, my grandpa, we all hop in my grandma's car, and we drive to Pittsburgh. We get to Pittsburgh, everything is cool. Like, my stuff is stacked in the trunk of the car, and we out. So I get there, you know, I move all my stuff in, I unpack, everything like that. So at this point, I've been at school for like a week, and I was coming home for Angelique's conference. She had a ministry, and so she had a conference every year, and we have been planning this for a while. So it was conference weekend. I had class. It was either I had class or I had an assignment. I think I had an assignment due on that Friday, and so I couldn't leave until that Friday afternoon. So I missed the Friday night service, which was like, okay, whatever. I got there at like midnight. Got in the Ubered to the hotel, because we were having a conference at the hotel. Ubered to the hotel, got all of my stuff out or whatever. It was fine. Went up to the room, crashed because I was tired. Saturday, we had people coming in from New Jersey who, like, they were bringing their whole youth ministry. So they got there, and I had to accommodate them and make sure they were taken care of, make sure they got to their room. We had to go get food for them. Like, they did not come prepared. The youth ministry, they did not come prepared. They thought that everything was free on us. So that was kind of a strain, and that was on Angelique's part, because she didn't inform them, like, we're not providing food or anything for y'all. Like, y'all have to pay for everything. Like, we rented out the space. and everything, and y'all really didn't have to pay much to attend the conference. I think the conference cost was maybe like $25 a person, something like that, and it was only like 20 to 30 people. Like, it was not a big group of us, because this was just a soft like launch conference or whatever to get the ministry up and off the ground. So we weren't doing it real big where we were, you know, renting out or had rooms picked for our guests and everything like that. Saturday night we had a evening session, and this was the last evening session. This was closing out the weekend. Everybody was going home Sunday. So we had the evening session. Before the evening session, Angelique is supposed to be upstairs preparing herself, because she was bringing the message, the word, whatever you want to call it. If you're not from church, she was the evening speaker, so she was the one preaching that night. So I had bought my computer. Like I said, I had bought my whole computer bag, my laptop, my tablet. I had one of my textbooks in there because, of course, I'm in college, so I needed to do some work while I was home helping with the conference. And I had like some other things in my computer bag, and it was a DKNY pink cute bag or whatever. So I let her use my computer. I let Angelique use my computer so that she can type up her notes and everything, and then go print them out. So she had my computer bag, and I had went downstairs to help the vendors set up. We had 2 vendors, so they needed help setting up their things and everything. Like, I was literally the runaround person, which I didn't mind. That's what I do in my daily ministry. Whenever we have things, like, I do videography, photography for my ministry, my church home or whatever. And when my mom used to go out and preach, when we would have things with Angelique, and it would be like different events and stuff, I would be the one helping out. I've done this my entire life. Like, it's nothing new to me. This is what I did already, so it wasn't nothing new. Anyway, so I was downstairs helping the vendors put their stuff out. Angelique comes down. She has the computer bag. She goes and she prints her stuff off, comes back, sits the computer bag outside of the conference room that we're in with the vendors. Fine. I know where my computer bag is. The night is over. The conference ended up being amazing. We're wrapping up, cleaning up the room, the conference room, putting everything back to where it's supposed to be, blase splee. And I go out and I'm looking for my computer bag, because again, it has my laptop, my charger, my tablet, my textbook for school that was like $300, and some other electronics in there that I needed for school. Like, I have to go back to school Sunday afternoon. Like, I need my bag. Computer bag is nowhere to be found. So I'm literally running all around the hotel to every place we've been, looking for my bag. Can't find it. Me and my brother can't find it. So I'm like, Angelique, where did you put the bag? Like, it was over by the vendors. It's not there. Like, did somebody take it? Can you call the vendors and see if they took it? She's like, I left it there. I didn't. And I'm like, well, you need to call the vendors, because I have an expensive book in there. I have a laptop in there that's a touchscreen laptop. I have my tablet in there. Like, it's things that I need in that bag. You have to call the vendors. And she's like, I'm gonna call. She never called them. So at this point, I'm going back to school without my computer. Not good. So I get back to school, and I was like, well, let me call the hotel one more time and see if they found the bag. If they found the bag, can they ship me the bag? Like, it was a pretty nice DKNY bag, so whatever. Bag never got found. So I went the rest of my first semester of my freshman year without a computer, thanks to Angelique. So that was the first thing. well, really the second thing after the whole TransPass situation. So now I'm back in school or whatever, having to go down to the computer lab to do my work, which is in the other building. So I literally have to leave my building to go to the other building to use the computer lab, or I'm going to the library, which is 3 blocks away from my dorm hall, every day, because I need to get my work done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So thankfully, like, I got through the semester, but during that semester my mom and Angelique were butting heads. Like, they were getting into arguments and just typical friendship. Again, I don't like you doing this, please stop doing this, but Angelique is still doing it. So Angelique was like, well, I'm gonna take a trip to Arkansas. So I'm gonna go to Arkansas. I had some family out in Arkansas. I'm gonna go to Arkansas. At first it was supposed to be a week, turned into a month. No, first it was supposed to be a week, turned into 2 weeks, turned into a month and a half. She was in Arkansas. She took Greyhound to get to Arkansas. She had to come through Pittsburgh to get to Arkansas. So she made her rest stop in Pittsburgh and was here for in Pittsburgh for a couple hours. I called her. I was like, well, since you're here, I'll come down, spend some time with you, or you can come to me, spend some time with me, see the campus and everything, and then I'll walk you back to Greyhound. She was like, yeah, cool. She got here, she got to Pittsburgh, never happened, never saw her, called her, didn't get an answer. Okay, whatever. When Angelique came back, it was just like, hey, I'm back, like, yeah, let's hang out, blah, blah, splee, whatever. Fine, didn't think too much of it. Then, sophomore year, if you saw my How I Met My Dad and My Siblings at 19 video, you'll know she is a part of the reason of why I even found out that my mom and my dad were having communication and everything like that. So that was that. Then we come to find out during this whole process that Angelique is pregnant. Okay, Angelique is pregnant. So we had made her a doctor's appointment and everything, and she kept pushing the doctor's appointment back, like kept pushing the doctor's appointment back, kept pushing it back, kept pushing it back, kept pushing it back. And so I was like, you have to go to the doctor, like, you can't keep pushing this back. So we went down to the place. They told us that she couldn't get seen because of her insurance. Okay, but on our way there, a guy that helped us with the conference, he had came up to us. No, we had met him, and it was just all bad. Like, he got very angry because they were talking about some money situation, because Angelique had borrowed money from him to help pay for the conference, and he wanted his money back. And he had also bought her an iPhone, and she didn't pay on the iPhone, and all of this stuff. So it's a big argument fest. So I'm telling Angelique, like, come on, let's go. Like, we don't have to deal with none of this. Like, he's doing the most, let's go. She didn't want to leave. I said, alright, well, y'all can have your conversation, but I'm going to stand right here. I'm not going to leave you in this situation. He starts yelling at me, you need to go, you are in grown folks business, blase split, like, I don't know who you think you are, telling me that you're not gonna go. Now mind you, at this point I'm 21, I'm grown, and I can do and say whatever I want. And that's exactly what I told him. I said, I'm grown, and if I want to stay here with my best friend to make sure she's okay, that's what I'm gonna do. And Angelique is like, no, go Evie, Yvette, just go, like, go ahead. So I walked further up the block, but I stayed where I can hear an earshot of what was going on. And so he just got mad and left. Okay, fine, whatever, didn't really care. So after that, we're walking home or whatever, and it was cool. I had called my dad and told my dad about the whole incident, and my dad went and told my mom, and my mom got upset and she told my pastor when we got to church. I got in trouble for that. And then that same day I was told that my cousin had passed away. So when my cousin had passed away, I was devastated. Like, I was just like, oh no, like this is not happening. Now my cousin, he was a twin, and so if you seen them together, if you seen Snake and Joe together, they was like this. Like, they did everything together. Those are my hearts. I love them. I love my babies, and now they both have passed away. But I was just like really distraught about it. And so at that time, me and Angelique were working. When that whole incident happened, me and Angelique were working, and we were working at this church down the street from my mom's house, because Angelique had family that owned the church and was running a summer camp or whatever. And so we were working there to my cousin passing away. And my cousin was Muslim, so in the Muslim tradition, if you don't know, you bury the dead 3 days after they pass. So I found out he passed on a Sunday. His janaza prayer, which is their funeral, was on a Wednesday. So I left church on that Sunday, went straight to my cousin's house. All of my family was there. And then that Monday, I went to work, got off work early, went home, changed my clothes, and we had a balloon release. So I went to the balloon release, me and my mom, my aunts, my younger cousins, my brother. Like, we all went to the balloon release. And so at the balloon release, we released the balloons, and we had these lanterns. We released the lanterns, and I broke down. Like, I broke all the way down. Me and my little brother, like, we hugged, and it was just over. And Angelique had came, but she came late, of course. And so she's standing up on the porch, and she gave me a hug, like, everything's gonna be okay, blah 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 blah. So I came to find out later that she had told my boss that she had to leave work early because she had to go to her cousin's balloon release. So she used my cousin as a scapegoat to get her out of work early so she can go and hang out with the guy that she had the argument with at the doctor's office, because he was the guy that got her pregnant, and she didn't want to tell anybody. So she used my cousin as an excuse to get out of work early. And we stopped working at the one summer camp because Angelique didn't go about the business the right way and didn't tell them that we weren't just volunteering, like we really wanted to come and work. And so that whole situation got screwed up, and so we stopped working for them. We got our money, and that was it. So a couple weeks later, she was like, well, I have a job interview at this place, so you should come with me. And then after that, we'll go, because she had a doctor's appointment that day as well, because she had got her insurance fixed. So I was like, okay, I'll go. We get up at old dark 30, and we go to this daycare, and we get there. Angelique has her interview first. She gets the job. Angelique tells the lady, oh well, my best friend is downstairs, she needs a job, she was going back to school in August, but she can work for a little while. So the lady calls me upstairs. She's like, can you get your fingerprints, your clearances, and everything by tomorrow? I said, sure. She was like, well, if you can get all of that stuff by tomorrow, you can come back tomorrow and start your first day. I was like, okay, cool. So we start working. It's cool, like 2 different centers, whatever. But I was working like 10-hour days, which I didn't mind because I was making a good little amount of money or whatever. So me and Angelique going to work every morning, staying all day, getting off at the same time. Sometimes she would get off earlier than I would, or I would get off earlier than she would, vice versa. But it started to get real weird because, again, Angelique is pregnant, and but she's not showing. Like it's nothing. Like at this point she should be at least 3-4 months pregnant. She was a small individual. She's not very big at all, but at this point you're a good amount of way into your pregnancy. She lied to our boss and told our boss that she was a certified a certified lifeguard, and she wasn't. She forged the lifeguard documentation and gave it to her like she was the lifeguard, and it just kept going and going from there. Like it didn't stop for her. So my mom and Angelique got into a really bad argument, to the point where Angelique was like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not staying there no more. I'm moving. I'm going for a week to give your mom some space and give you some space because we've been arguing a lot. Blah, explain. So I was like, fine. I was at my grandma's house at this point. I wasn't even at my mom's house. So I was in this room actually. And it was Saturday going into Sunday, and I was my mom had texted me that night, and she was like, I'm done with your best friend, like we're not communicating anymore, blah, explain. I was like, why? What happened? Mind you, it's like 1:30 in the morning, and me and my mom are talking and having a full-fledged conversation. I text Angelique, and I'm like, what's going on? Why are you and mom not friends no more? Like, why are y'all not talking? Like, because this girl at this point has been in my life for 3 years. Going on 3 years. So I was just like, what's going on? And I just never got a straight answer from her. So I called her. And when I called her, she was in this place. I don't know if it was a hotel or if she was home. But it was a guy in the background. He was like, I'll be back later. Or I'm coming right back, something like that. And I don't think she thought I heard her, or I heard the person. And we talked for a minute, then hung up. So I was very upset, and I texted Angelique and I cursed her out at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like I didn't even care anymore. And I told her, I was like, you gotta come and get your stuff. Like this is it. Like we're not gonna keep doing this. Like come get your stuff. So mind you, we still was working together. So I get back to work on that Monday, and she knows I'm pissed. Like we don't talk, but you can feel the tension in the room. She sat me down and she was like, look, I know we're not on the best of terms right now, but I'm still gonna help y'all with the rent and make sure it's food in the house, because I was living here and I moved out and my name is on the lease for the apartment, but I was split. So I was like, fine. And then she left because her shift was over. So that went on for a week, and I had told my boss when I first started working here that I needed the last week of I think it was like a week before the last week of August. I needed that week off because I was going on family vacation to Wildwood with my family, and everything like that. And she was like, okay, fine. So I already had that week off, but I changed it, and I was like, well, I'll just go for the weekend and come back to work on that Monday. And she was like, okay, well, whatever you want to do, you still have time to, you know, let me know. So me and Angelique, again, we're not speaking. Like, we go through the week, barely talking. We were at 2 different sites, like for half the day. So I was cool with it because I didn't really have to see her. So I go on vacation to Wildwood, New Jersey with my entire family. I was gonna come back Sunday afternoon so I can be at work on Monday. My ride never came. My cousins were supposed to come. They live in New Jersey, but they were going to Philadelphia to visit some other family, and they were going to swing by and hang out with us for the day on Sunday and then go to Philadelphia. They ended up not coming, and so I was stuck in New Jersey. I was stuck in New Jersey until, so I had texted my boss and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry, like I can't get back. My ride, they never showed up, and it was last minute. Like, they told me literally this afternoon that they weren't coming. And she was like, well, that's fine, your services will no longer be needed, I'll send your check in the mail. I was like, okay, fine, like this was only supposed to be a summer thing anyway, like this wasn't supposed to be long term. And so I was cool with it. So I got home and I'm waiting for my check in the mail because I go back to school in a week. It wasn't in the mail. So someone was like, just call. No, just text and see what's going on. So I texted my boss at the time and I was like, hey, I just wanted to know, did you send out the check? If so, can you send me a tracking number? She sends me a piece of paper with half of a tracking number on it. And I text her back, I said, excuse me, this is only half of a tracking number. I need to know the full tracking number so I can track my check. And she called me. She was like, hi, well, actually you won't be getting a check because you and Angelique committed check fraud, blase split. I said, hold up, me and Angelique did what? And she was like, I find it very convenient that you went on vacation the week before you're supposed to get paid, and then once your Angelique gets her check, she stole $800 from my business account by committing check fraud, blase blah blah. I said, first of all, I haven't spoken to Angelique since that day that you called the job and told Angelique that her shift was over and that she can leave. I said, me and Angelique have not been speaking. I don't know where she is. I think she's in Chester with her grandmother. Like, I don't have nothing to do with that. I said, you can call anybody in my family and ask them where I was last week. I was in Wildwood, New Jersey. I said, I don't have no reason to lie about where I was. And she was like, well, you guys, you're her best friend, so you had to know what she was doing. Blase split. And I literally had to run everything down to her. Everything that happened, the fake lifeguard certificate while we weren't speaking, the fact that Angelique was supposedly pregnant, everything. And she was like, oh my god, I didn't know that. She was like, well, is there another address that I can send your check to, because you and Angelique have the same address down. I said, sure, you can send it to my grandma's house. And I gave her that address. And then my dad came to see me while he was on his way to come see me. And while he was on his way, my boss had called me back and was like, I have to, I calculated all of your hours and it looks like I shortchanged you on your check. So is there somewhere that we can meet and I can give you what I shortchanged you in cash? I said, yeah, sure, fine. So we met somewhere up the street from my house, and she gave me the extra money that she shortchanged me on my check. And she made me sign a thing saying that I can't sue her or take her to court. Whatever, at this point I didn't care. I just wanted my money and to be done with the situation. Let's rewind. So before she even called me to tell me that she shortchanged me on my check, we were on the phone, and I was like, you know what, I'll call Angelique right now and have her tell you the whole truth, that I was not in on this, that I had nothing to do with this. Now mind you, I hadn't talked to Angelique, So I called her. I was calling her. She was not answering the phone. I had my mom call her. She was not answering the phone. So my mom had to call her Angelique's supposed godmom, who lives in Baltimore, to get Angelique to answer the phone. Angelique answered the phone. Her supposed godmom talked to her, and then Angelique got in contact with our boss, told our boss the truth, and then that's when our boss called me back and was like, hey, I shortchanged you such and such amount on your check. Let's meet in person to get it. So me, my dad, and my aunt walked up the street to where we were meeting at so I can get my money. I signed the little piece of paper, took a picture of it, and left it at that. Whatever. So fast forward like 2 weeks actually after that, and I get a phone call from my mom. I'm like, hey mom, what's up? She's like, Angelique was supposed to send me the rent money and I never got it. I said, what you mean you never got it? She was like, she sent it through Western Union, sent me a number, a tracking number. When I went to go check the tracking number, it said that it's no tracking number, like it's nothing attached to this tracking number. I was like, okay. So what she did was she sent the money, got the tracking number, then recanted the money back to herself. Okay, so give me 10 minutes, I'll call you back. I called Angelique, and she was on the phone with another one of her godmothers. And the reason I'm doing godmothers in air quotations is because she's maybe the one that I was talking about earlier that my mom had to call for her to even answer the phone for my boss at the time, was a woman that she met over Facebook, and she had maybe 5 or 6 real encounters with this woman. And then the one that the one that she was on the phone with when I called her about this last situation was a woman from, I think she was from Texas, that Angelique has never met a day in her life, and she just met her over Facebook. And these women was allowing Angelique to go forth on their conference calls, their prayer lines, and Angelique was leading worship for these people on their prayer lines, and she was just out here being ragged. But yeah, so she was on the phone with her godmother from Texas, I think this woman was from, and I literally was like, hello, and she was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, I'm gonna tell you my exact words because I remember this day so vividly. I said, I'm gonna be as respectful as possible, but, and she stopped me. She was like, oh, well, I'm on the phone with Apostle such and such, so you can't be cursing on here because that's disrespectful. And I said, excuse me, ma'am, this is no way disrespectful to you. This is directed towards Angelique, and she knows why. And I said, you have 24 hours to send my mother the money that you're supposed to send her, and you're going to send me the tracking number. You're not going to send it to my mom. You're going to send me the tracking number. And if my mom does not have this money and I don't have this tracking number, in the next 24 hours, I will personally buy a ticket to wherever you are and whoop you behind. Period. She was like, no, it's not needed. None of that is called for. None of that is called for. The apostle or godmom or the lady was like, excuse me, like, Yvette, you don't have to do that. Like, it's not that serious. I said, no, it is that serious. I said, this girl could have got me kicked out of school. She could have got my scholarship taken away from me for school. She caused so much damage to my life, and this is literally the last thing I want from her, is for her to come or send my mom this money so we won't have to deal with her any longer. Like, that's really where I'm at with the situation. And she was like, wait, like, y'all didn't have a conversation? I said, this is the first time I'm talking to her since we almost fought outside of my house. And she was like, wait, y'all almost fought outside of your house. Like, Angelique had not told her anything. Like, yeah, like she almost got me arrested. I could have not been in school, got my scholarship taken away. Like, I would have had a lot of things happen. And she was like, and the godmom or whatever you want to call her was like, oh, Angelique, you didn't apologize? You told me you apologized. I said, she lies. Like, y'all sit here and believe her. Like, she lies. She doesn't know how to tell the truth. She doesn't have a truthful bone in her body. And she was like, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean for all of this to happen. Like, I really love you. Like, you're one of the closest things to me. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you're still lying. Like, I said, you can keep the apology. It's not, I don't want it. It's not worth anything to me. And because you're only doing it because somebody said something. If nobody said anything to you about it, you wouldn't be apologizing. So her spiritual parent had gotten pregnant and she had the baby or whatever, and Angelique was going around taking the pictures of the baby off of Facebook and shopping them around like they were her baby pictures, like she was pregnant and everything. And the lady had put up like her baby shower pictures, and on the top of the cake it was a C and a W for the little girl's name. I'm not going to tell you the little girl's name, but it was a C and a W on the top of the cake for the little girl's name. And Angelique was going around telling people that that was her baby shower, and that the C and the W on the top of the cake stood for cute and wonderful and not the little girl's name. She had people who was sending her money, sending her baby clothes, a whole bunch of baby everything, trying to find her housing because she was pregnant. And I was just like, this girl is really crazy. Like, one of our mutual friends, she has 2 boys, and we got really cool through Angelique. And come to find out, Angelique had claimed this mutual friend of ours her children on her taxes to get the tax money, and didn't give it to the young lady whose kids they were. Like, Angelique really did some crazy stuff, and looking back at it, it was just like me and my mom were just pawns in her games and situation. And I feel like everybody's life is better without her being in it, and that's 100% honest. She just wasn't a good person. She didn't add value. She added destruction. And I really learned that you have to let go of those people who don't add anything to your life. They're only bringing you down and causing pain and all of that type of stuff. So that is the story of my worst best friend ever. If you are in a situation like this, I advise you to get out as soon as possible. You might not notice it at first, like the red flags and stuff might not be as noticeable as mine, but you know when somebody is not good for you, when they're not right for you, whether it be friendship or relationship wise. Like, after a while you'll start to see and you'll start picking up on little things. So my advice to you is to get out as quickly as possible and to rid yourself from all of the people that was connected to them, that did you wrong or that enabled them to do wrong. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share. Get me to 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'll catch you in the next video.